In a cross-border drug trafficking case, Hung is facing off against notorious smugglers. After days of sleepless surveillance, he and his team are ready to take down a major network. However, their plan is at risk as the criminals continuously change their methods and locations, making everything more complicated than ever. While Hung rushes to act, Hoai Ca, who has always been by his side, is deeply worried about his safety. Can they overcome these challenges, hold on to their love, and protect the peace for everyone? As the situation reaches its most tense moment, an important decision is made. Will Hung face danger to end it all? Or will he have to sacrifice something even more important? Just one split-second decision could change everything. But will the love between Hung and Hoai Ca be strong enough to endure? Hung sat in his office, the dim light barely illuminating the scattered papers on his desk. The long hours of non-stop work had left him exhausted, his eyes red, but the mission didn't allow him to stop. This major drug case had dragged on for too long, and he knew that only perseverance and intense focus would help him take down these dangerous smuggling rings. He'd been awake every night, working with his team to gather information, monitor suspects, and always feeling the tension in every passing moment. The village head, his face filled with concern, spoke first, sharing the ongoing situation of trafficking in the village. Despite some significant successes in dismantling networks, the problem had not eased. Everything seemed to continue as before, just with changing locations and methods. The smugglers never gave up. They always found ways to hide and continue their illegal operations, even exploiting the difficult circumstances of the locals to force them into participation. Hung felt the weight of it all. He understood the hardship the villagers faced, especially since some had no choice but to collaborate with criminals due to poverty. Young men, once the pillars of their families, had mysteriously disappeared, their fates unknown. Some had been tricked into going abroad and sold, adding to their families' worries and fears. The village head sighed, his eyes full of worry. We've taken down some major networks, but we can't stop here. They'll keep changing their tactics, and the villagers are becoming more and more afraid. I hope you'll take stronger action. Don't let this situation drag on any longer. The people are living in fear. No one dares to go out safely. Hung nodded, his heart heavy, but more determined than ever. He knew that if the situation continued like this, the village would soon spiral out of control. Looking into the village head's eyes, he reassured him. Don't worry, we'll act stronger. No more chances for them to hide. It won't be easy, but I'll work with you and the villagers to completely dismantle these networks. The meeting ended with brief but resolute words from Hung. He knew that every decision, every step forward wasn't just a battle against crime. It was a fight to protect the peaceful lives of the villagers. Holding the documents in his hand, his eyes shone with resolve. This is the job. Don't worry, I'll do my best. Hung was focused on the documents, his eyes tired from the tense hours when his phone suddenly vibrated. He answered the call, the voice on the other end, urgent. Boss Hung, it's me. Hung responded softly, not taking his eyes off the screen. Yeah, it's me. Boss, they're starting to move again. The voice reported worry in their tone. Hung frowned. Really where? The same place, boss. Hung jumped up decisively. Same place. All right, you keep a close watch. I'll be there soon. Everything suddenly became more intense, more urgent. The smugglers had been waiting ready for the cross-border transaction where everything could change in the blink of an eye. One of the men in the group on this side seemed anxious and restless. He didn't want to wait any longer without backup. But after a short while, the two smugglers finally met at the rendezvous point. They exchanged a look eyeing each other and began negotiating the price. Neither of them said it outright, but they both knew this was a dangerous deal, one that could affect not only the money they made, but also their own freedom. Outside, Hung and another officer were hiding in the shadows, observing from a distance, waiting for the right moment to act. From their hiding spot, they could clearly see the two smugglers negotiating, completely unaware that they were being watched. Hung held his breath, his eyes locked on the smallest details of their movements, ready to give the order to his team when the time came. "Start," Hung silently commanded in his mind. Just one more minute and the chase would begin. But he also knew that before jumping into the pursuit, everything had to be absolutely certain. As soon as the moment arrived, Hung waved his hand, signaling his team to move. They advanced quickly and silently, preparing to catch the smugglers. However, the smugglers seemed to sense that something wasn't right. They looked around, but still didn't realize they were being followed. One of the smugglers suddenly panicked, speeding up and trying to run away. "Freeze, everyone, stop!" Hung shouted, but it was too late. The smuggler had already disappeared into the darkness, and the chase began. "Stop, you!" Hung yelled, his voice echoing in the still night air. The smuggler didn't stop. "Stop right there." Hung and the police team were chasing him, running fast through the empty streets. The man was quickly pulling ahead, hoping to escape the police pursuit. "Shit, he's fast," one of the officers muttered, eyes wide in surprise. But their determination wouldn't let them stop. Hung and his team kept chasing, getting closer with every step. But the more they ran, the more difficult it became. The streets were empty, and the shadows stretching across the streetlights felt like ghosts in the night. Hung could hear the pounding of his own feet on the ground, each step pulling him closer, yet also reminding him of the weight of the chase. The smuggler wasn't slowing down. He kept running faster, as if nothing could stop him. "Damn, that was close," he thought, panic rising inside him. "Should I go up or down?" The smuggler wondered, but the confusion only made him lose his direction. Everything felt hazy, frantic. Just then, he noticed a set of footprints on the ground. It was a sign of something not right. While running, another officer caught up and shouted, "Stop, you're surrounded!" The warning echoed through the silent space. Everything seemed to freeze for a moment. The smuggler tried to rush into a small alley, but Hung and his team had already blocked every escape route. There was no way out. He quickly turned around, his face filled with panic. "You've been caught. Please take me to the station." His voice trembled, pleading for mercy. "You've gone too far. You have no respect for the law." The smuggler tried to resist, but there was no escaping now. The chase ended when the smuggler was arrested. Everything was in the hands of the police. Hung stood watching the suspect being restrained, still feeling the tension and adrenaline from the pursuit. It was over, but the waiting was far from done.